Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So the Technosite Coda Techrot Encore update has been out for about a month and a half now, and I've gotten all the new Infested Lich weapons maxed out. So we'll be doing a updated tier list of what the best Coda weapons are, now that I've got everything maxed out with full builds on level 10,000 for pretty much every single weapon. So let's hop right into it. But before we do, make sure you sub this channel, daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, all that kind of stuff in a place for Warframe content. We'll have the new Directly Private Access being covered extensively on this channel as well, so keep an eye out for prep guides and build videos on her. So starting things off with the first Coda weapon, we got the Coda Bassocyst right here. This thing is definitely top tier, hitting multi-million damage really, really easily. Really easy. Like, just shoot that guy with no procs, million damage. 3 million damage on these guys, 12 million damage on that guy. This thing is an extreme beast, so it's going to be an easy S tier. As far as what rolls to recommend on it, you're seeing a no Riven Toxin build right there with Deadhead, but you can also go for a DOT focus build. You want to change the element on the DOT build to the Fire element. With the Valiance or Elemental Vice nowadays, you can switch that on the fly. So now our Corrosive build is no longer going to work. Now we have a Heat DOT focus build because of that. So keep that in mind when you're going through these things. That, the element you have on there will change a lot of stuff. You can change it at will nowadays. So starting things off with our first placement, we've got the Coda Bassocyst. And after showing that quick display right there, hopefully you can agree with me, this thing is an easy S tier. One of the best guns you can get in the game, and definitely the best gun you can get from the Coda Lich as well. Moving on to the Coda Catabolyst. This thing is a beam pistol. But once you drain the ammo pool or like your magazine, it does not automatically reload. You have to manually reload this thing, but the manual reload's there for a reason. It actually lets you throw a grenade that can hit enemies relatively hard. So with the critical mutation mod, that's a special augment for it, easy corrosive viral heat build, and even taking it further, since the last round of the magazine is what causes that grenade to be thrown, you can throw on the Synth Charge mod for a big damage buff of that final round of the magazine. So, a good weapon. I've got a 60% heat roll right here. And yeah, you throw corrosive grenades when you reload this thing, but you have to manually reload it. I'd recommend a beam range mod on here to get 27 meters of range. If you don't have it, it's like under 20 meters, it feels pretty bad. But yeah, relatively strong pistol, but the bad magazine size and the annoying feeling reload is why I've got it at B tier. A strong weapon when you do want to rock it, but to be honest, it's not something that everyone's clamoring to go for. B tier for that, but it's still strong. Next, with the Coda Caustacyst, a corrosive scythe. It has non-combining corrosive, which is really nice for certain setups. So that means for melee influence, it spreads only elemental procs. So this thing having corrosive built in, when you mod melee influence for electric, you'll have corrosive and electric spreading nearby enemies. Additionally, you can throw on viral too for viral corrosive electric, which is going to be pretty good. Additionally, it has very, very high stats, and as far as compared to the normal version of the Caustacyst, it's got a better special attack too. So really, really good corrosive scythe, really good melee influence weapon. That's mainly what it's there for. So generally good, pretty much good every time you're going to use it, but not so like I'm like jumping up and down to grab. That's why it's not an S tier. Moving on to the Coda Hema. This thing's basically a generic burst rifle with built-in viral damage, but that viral damage being built in actually can enable some really good builds. For example, a viral corrosive heat build, as stated earlier, is very good for debuffing enemies, and we can even throw on magnetic too with the correct build. So looking at my Hema build right now, I've got a 60% magnetic, and I have used this thing at 25% to one-shot level 10,000. So now it's at 60%, it's going to be even better. Now, I've got a corrosive ribbon. You can't really fit that on here as easily without a corrosive ribbon, but look at the build right now. Corrosive, viral, magnetic, heat. That's pretty much every debuff you can get from status procs. It's all in one burst. We got 72% status chance too to knock it all out. So heat will remove their armor. Corrosive will remove their armor. Viral will debuff them for all damage, and then magnetic will make their overguard explode in an electric DOT. So we can get lots of good stuff on here. Very good for Void Cascade. Very good for just general missions. But yeah, that being said, it's not really AoE. It's got built-in lifesteal, but lifesteal is pretty irrelevant in Warframe 2025. So you're just mainly going to be using this as a infinite ammo generic rifle, burst rifle. So because of that, it's not going to go in A or S tier. But if you're looking for just like a reliable workhorse weapon that is not going to run out of ammo, you could go ahead and try this out, because it drains your health to reload itself too, which is kind of nice. Now, moving on to us not being as generous on these things. These are MR17 weapons, mind you. I'm putting the Coda Hirudo at D tier. I did use the Coda Hirudo for level 10,000. I've got a video of it on the channel as well. It's just not really something that people are going to be trying to equip on a regular basis. Just like the Hema, this thing's got special lifesteal too. On crit, you get increased HP and you get built-in lifesteal. But the thing about that is that in Warframe 2025, if you've been hearing all the people complaining about Valkyrie not being tanky or whatever, armor and HP tanking is not the meta. It's usable, but it's not the meta. So, that being said, you have a really, really low-range weapon that has a irrelevant special passive. So it really just comes down to its really high stats. It's got really good crit, so that's nice. But you could use a lot of weapons in this game that have better stats than this and are not going to be held down by some weird, or not even held down, but like, not as excited because their gimmick is not as good. Like, honestly, the Coda Caustacyst is just better than this. So yeah, low range, lifesteal weapon going down to D tier. You could kill level 10,000 one hit with if you wanted to, but why would you use that when you could just use something better? Moving on to something better, we got the Coda Mire. Now, the Coda Mire is going to be going to A tier. I know some of you guys would argue it's S tier, but the reason the Coda Mire is an A tier, not S tier, is just because the nature of how this weapon works. It's a double tap Afflictions slam attack melee, if that makes any sense to you. So basically what you want to do is you want to get a normal slam attack out, and then you want to do a heavy attack. So normal slam into heavy slam is going to be duping your DOT. So if you look at right here, the special ability of the Coda Mire, and the normal Mire for that matter, is slam attacks apply Toxin status effect. So we put on melee afflictions, that once we fling the enemies, they'll multiply those DOTs, and it will be really, really nasty. Now, you do want to definitely throw on Bane of the, whenever you're fighting here, so Bane of the Grenier will be optimal. But let's just go ahead and show it with no Bane right now so you can see how that works. Keep in mind, the Bane mods help a lot. Like, if you're doing any DOT build, Bane mods, like, amplify the damage a ton. So we do normal slam into heavy slam, and they should all be basically dead. So yeah, it duplicates the Toxin proc. So that's good, but again, you have to do 2 attacks to get what you just saw right there. Whereas with other weapons, it's usually going to only be 1 attack. Once the slam attack nerfs come through, maybe this will be a little bit more enticing, but as of right now, it's just a little bit too slow for what I'm used to as far as, you know, killing enemies. It's fun to do this, for sure. You could do other builds too, like, the Toxin procs are guaranteed, so you could throw on, like, viral procs, you could throw on gas procs, and duplicate those as well for even more deadly DOT. That's going to be at A tier, with it being pretty close to S tier with how much damage it can dish out. You're definitely not going to be wasting your heart cells grabbing that weapon, I'd say. And as far as the element I have on there, I believe that's a 60% heat. Yeah, but there's plenty of other options too. Heat is going to be good for viral heat or corrosive heat or even a gas build, since you don't have to mod for Toxin necessarily. But Toxin mods do increase the damage of your DOT as well. Okay, moving on to one I was a lot more generous with on the first list. The Coda Motorvore is going to D tier. Yes, one of the 3 new weapons from this update for Coda weapons is going to D tier, and here's why. I had the A tier when it first came out. I was blinded by the newness of it. This thing's very, very unique. It has some things going for it that are interesting, but not actually good. So the things the Coda Motorvore has going for it, and why I was blinded by the excitement basically at launch, is that it multiplies impact, puncture, and slash mods by 6. So if we look at my build right now, my impact build, this Prime Heavy Trauma mod is almost 1,000% impact damage, which is insanely high. And if we look at other mods, like the slash build right here, slash mods are going to be also extremely high. But the thing is, these mods, even being multiplied by this, doesn't make a huge difference. Like, yes, my impact version of this has very high damage. We're cooking an electric one right now. But it's just impact, puncture, slash aren't as good as, like, the elemental stuff, in my opinion. So we look at the build right now, it's like 8,900 damage. Very, very high. But yeah, these special perks are like, get 4% attack speed if you have impact weighting. Get 1.5 years of range, you have puncture weighting, or 100% slash chance, you have slash weighting. So you're having to like waste a mod slot to get a effect that's only going to be nichely useful. So if I was doing a slam build, attack speed's not useful. If I'm doing a slam build, range isn't useful, or slash chance is kind of useful but not that useful. So these perks are not as, or these unique traits are not as beneficial as what we're doing with this weapon, which it's a hammer, so we're doing slam attack builds. And that being said, it's not as good for slam attacks either. You saw the Mire there doing, like, you know, multi-million easily. The Magistar can do that in a huge radius. We got 10-meter radius on this thing. Magistar's double the range. Mire, I believe, was 8 meters. So, yeah, this thing has not enough going for it to make it actually enticing. Now, you can get ribbons and all that, too, if you wanted, but the ribbons are really low stats, It's just not really a weapon that people are using regularly, besides fashion. It looks really cool fashion frame-wise, but yeah, you can do much better as far as damage is concerned. So we're putting that one at D tier, next to the Hirudo. Pretty much irrelevant weapon. You only get it for fashion frame purposes. Moving on to a weapon that's definitely not just for fashion frame purposes, the Coda Pathocyst is going to S tier. This is one of the weapons that is a must-have from the Coda Infested Lich rotation store. And the reason for that is because it's the new highest damage glaive in the entire game. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for the Pathocyst, but yes, it is the highest actual base damage of the entire glaive family in Warframe. But the issue with that, and why you might not like it as much as the glaive or the Falcor, is that it has a forced viral proc, not a forced slash or electric proc. So you have to basically mod it around that. So we got Blast Electric on here. And it's also going to spawn some miasmites that will cause viral procs, but don't worry about those too much. The main thing here is just you throw out the weapon, proc with the influence, and everything will AoE detonate, which is very strong. And with this high base damage, those DOTs are relatively strong too. So we get, we get a galvanized stack or two, then we throw out the second time. Should be basically just GG for all those enemies. So yeah, really nice AoE, really nice base damage. No forced DOT procs, but if you have any somewhat decent semblance of a build, you can knock out a huge group of enemies with a massive electric explosion. So yeah, recommend that one as a must-have weapon. Unfortunately, the miasmites don't really do much there, but they still look kind of cool, causing some viral procs and causing some mayhem for the enemies. Moving on to the last couple here, we got the Coda Pox. I'll put the Coda Pox at C tier. They have very good potential damage, but these are throwing star weapons that, first off, feel awkward to use. They have a weird throw animation, but they also cause a DOT on the enemy after they hit them. So, that being said, they're very, very good with secondary Enervate because they cause so many instances of damage that Enervate will give you the additive crit chance constantly. So you get red crits on this thing nicely. But that being said, it's a throwing star, but it has projectile time. It's got bad ammo pool. It's got, some good stuff going for it. But I'm never going to actually be like, oh, it's time to use the Pox. It can be used as a procer as well with lots of DOTs on enemies. Not saying it's terrible, but again, nothing I'm going to be ever using, and probably something that people aren't really enticed to use as a whole. But yeah, good damage potential. Moving on to the Sporothrix. We got the Coda Sporothrix. Now this thing is much better than normal Sporothrix because of its big increase to stats, pretty much. Everything else beyond that is nothing unique. But that being said, as far as builds for the Sporothrix, it's a sniper rifle, so it's not going to be always useful like these A tiers or a thing you must have like the S tiers. It's a sniper rifle. So that being said, it has 5% base crit chance and very high base crit damage. So I'd recommend if you want to use this thing, stack additive crit chance. We're talking Arcane Avenger, we're talking Harrow's ulti, we're talking Adar's a cat. If you can force this thing to crit, it will have tons of damage. If you can't force it to crit, it's more of a status chance focused weapon. So good stuff, but it's still a sniper, so I can't really recommend it in general gameplay. But still a powerful weapon nonetheless. You can one-shot lots of enemies with this thing. Moving on to the Coda Synapse. This thing was very disappointing. It's going to B tier because of that. The Coda Synapse is a very hard-hitting beam weapon, but the problem with it is that it is not exactly as AoE as people were hoping it would be. We look at weapons like the Tenet Glaxi, and they can chain between nearby enemies. What the Coda Synapse got instead is going to be built-in punch-through. It's got 1.2 meters of punch-through at base. I believe I got a punch-through ribbon right now. So yeah, with my punch-through ribbon and with Prime Shred, it's 5 meters of punch-through. But either way, yeah, this thing it was viewed as very, very disappointing because it is not chained to nearby enemies. The Tenet Glaxian does. This thing was like the Infest version of the Tenet Glaxian. It did not take off, unfortunately. That being said, it can kill level 10,000 in one shot. And I actually think I forgot to upload my video on it. But yes, it has lots of good builds for level 10,000 if you're okay with a weapon that's not really going to be clearing out the entire room in one bullet. Go ahead and show it right there. Got Magnetic Corrosive, pretty good. So it can do some good stuff for sure. It's more of a single target beam though, as I said. If you could group them up, of course the punch through will come into effect. It's got 1.2 meters of punch through built in. And you can maximize it even more, I suppose. But yeah, pretty reliable weapon, but not exactly the most exciting weapon. Yeah, let's just go throw in some buffs here too, why not? I don't know if I have a silencer on this thing, but we'll go ahead and throw Ivara's buffs on here. 600k from a single tick. I've seen 12 million damage on the proper build. So yeah, it's and I wish I could say more about it. It's just not very exciting. It's got base corrosive at least, so you can do a corrosive electric build like my build has right now. But yeah, overall wouldn't recommend it overly to you guys. You can take off that. You can take that for corrosive electric, actually quite good for DOTs. But yeah, it was viewed as disappointing for a reason. All the Coda Synapse fans were sad about this at launch. And I don't think DE will ever buff. At least they'll buff the Dispo. The Riven Dispo holds this thing back from the normal Synapse having like triple the Riven stats. Moving on to the last couple we have here, we have the Coda Torxica, the Coda Tysis. Now the Coda Torxica, we had a long conversation about this on stream. It's going to A tier. The Coda Torxica is going to be on kill, causing enemies nearby to get hunted down by these spores that cause cold procs and make the enemy more vulnerable to damage. So that's pretty good, but the thing is that, you know, you would rather just insta-kill them, not have to wait for a DOT or a debuff to hit them. So I'd say it's the best Coda pistol, but being the best Coda pistol only means so much. I'm not putting it in S tier because of that. On the previous video, I did have it in S tier, but yeah, I think you could definitely skip out on this one if you don't want it. It's really, really good, but yeah, basically on kill, hunt enemies down with cold procs. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and try it. There's actually a bug with it right now where it launches enemies into the ceiling after they get hit by the spores, so that's an interesting one for sure. Showing how we got it in the sim right now. There's many builds for this thing. I've got a electric roll right now with a full electric DOT build, but yeah, blast build will also work great. Let's go ahead and just give it a quick shot here so you can see how we can expect from this weapon. Keep in mind, this is not the build I always use. Okay, so we just go ahead and get these guys over here. So right there, get those kills. So see right there, she got hit by that cold proc debuff. Now she takes more damage from all sources, I believe it is, isn't it? And even more damage from the Torxica itself. So a blast build will be much better. A corrosive build will be much better on these guys. Again, not exactly the most optimal build for them, but yeah. You can see the passive doing that stuff. That's probably the best Coda pistol we have, but really not saying a ton when we have Incarnons in this game, guys. This is MR17. Like, it's cool for sure. But is it S tier cool? I'd say no, and people in chat voted and said probably no as well. I think it's fair to put it at A, but yeah, a very powerful dual pistol that you might want to try in the future. Moving on to the last weapon here, we got the Coda Tysis. Now, as far as the Coda Tysis, I do like this thing a lot. At first, I didn't give it much credit, but yeah, this thing is extremely good for single target. One bullet, multi-million damage fire proc DOT. You can watch my Tysis video in the comments down or the description down below if you want to. But yeah, basically, it's a single target gun, very good as a single target procer as well. But yeah, just compared to the normal Tysis, it's got a lot more crit and base damage. So it makes up that low Riven stat with a very, very good heat proc potential from one shot. So as far as now that we've gone over the entire list, this is what you got. You got the must-have weapons as the Coda Bassocyst and the Coda Pathocyst because they're just so insanely good. As far as A tier, some of the best besides the must-haves, Caustacyst, Mire, Torxica, and everything else beyond that is like more of a personal preference. Like, oh, I want to get a sniper. I want to get a single target pistol. I want to get a burst rifle with infinite ammo that doesn't really do anything besides that. That's going to be what the stuff below that is. So again, these are your top 5 best up here, and the rest are still really strong. Just it depends if you're going to like it or not. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Appreciate support. Let me know if you disagree with any of the placements. Do you think the Mire should be S tier? Do you think the Torxica should be S tier? Let me know, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. See you guys next time. Take it easy. Bye.